Ryan here, and hey guys, Ryan here, and today I just got done watching the Hollywood Casino 400 from Kansas Speedway, and all in all, just very first thoughts was that was a pretty good race, and certainly the drivers did what they needed to do in the circumstance. Logano got his win. That will lock him in to the championship four. So Logano no longer has to worry the rest of the season until Phoenix. He doesn't have to worry about this championship fight. And he is the most recent winner at Phoenix. So I think that instantly puts him as maybe the favorite for that championship fight, especially depending on if Keselowski gets knocked out by Elliott. But at the moment, Brad Keselowski's on the inside looking out, and Elliott's out by 8 points, so that'll be an interesting one to look at. But just kind of looking through the race as a whole, I watch it start to finish, and there were only really 2 points where I was really kind of frustrated as a fan. And one of them, actually, I'm very torn on personally, because I like what it produced, but I was kind of frustrated knowing that that it really was not necessarily what I want to see them go forward with for a long time. But let's go to the first point, which is comp cautions. I mean, I've mentioned it a couple times, but I don't really see where they're necessary. Like, make it mandatory for the teams to make a pit stop in the first 20 laps, but do we really need to throw a caution? I mean, they don't even make it mandatory that they pit at that stage or at that thing, but it also where they time it like 25, 30 laps into this thing, you can make it to the end of the first stage on that, and really kind of eliminates a green flag pit stop, which I feel is kind of the direction they've been going, which is away from green flag pit stops. Which, while I don't watch purely for that, and I don't think anybody watches purely to see green flag pit stops, it certainly is. Green flag pit stops are better than yellow flag pit stops, I would say. The races off pit road can be exciting, especially when it ends up being the pass for the win, like we saw at the end of this race. The pass for the win was made on pit road. Yeah, then late in stages 1 and 2, we actually ended up building up great battles in two different ways. I mean, the stage 1 battle was actually a short run that was kind of getting towards the point where it becomes a long run. I think it was around about 15, 20 laps, if I remember correctly, on how long that run to the end of stage 1 was. So you had guys like Harvick up front with their short run cars dominating, and then you had guys like Elliott who were a little slower at the start of the run, but were able to kind of build up and pass late in that run and be able to actually take that stage win. Elliott getting a stage win, which will help him advance hopefully to Phoenix. And then at the end of stage 2, you had a very long run. I believe stage 2 actually went caution free, where you actually had a very long run and lots of lap traffic, kind of developing a great battle between a bunch of different drivers. Brad Keselowski was in there. I think all three Penske cars were in there. Hamlin was in there. I think Harvick was kind of fading because, of course, his car was all short run car. Elliott was there. But you had a really interesting battle amongst a ton of cars in lap traffic, which resulted in almost a last lap photo finish for the stage. And then I'm going to get to it because, this finish, fantastic finish. I loved it. I was interested the entire time. But I am certainly going to be frustrated going forward if this continues to be the way that NASCAR wants to go, which is the high downforce purely because of dirty air. If they can figure out a way with the next gen car to eliminate some of the problems that dirty air causes, maybe we'll look back at this video and we'll see if what I'm about to say holds true. But at least for right now, the high downforce, while at the plate tracks, I think it works really well because it creates a very high draft. The dirty air at the 1.5 miles and basically any track where you have to lift. I just think it causes so much dirty air that Logano essentially was surviving with that lead purely because of the fact that he could put dirty air in the path of Harvick. Now, I think Harvick also could have done a little bit more to try and get out of the way of the dirty air, but really in the end, the fact that I think Harvick had the faster car really does annoy me, at least to some degree, because you had a situation where Harvick was not the best driver, or Harvick was the best driver and the best car combo there, I think. Now, I don't think Logano was bad. I think Logano was easily third, fourth on that list of best cars all day. But just the dirty air guys getting stuck in traffic. I mean, Hamlin, Chase Elliott, I'd put up there in the top 5 cars all day. They got stuck in traffic and just never were able to really catch up. But then you had a guy like Logano who was also up there in that top 5, but you could see visibly in that final 40-lap battle that they had from the yellow flag for, I think it was Reddick having an issue to the checkered flag. Logano got the lead off pit road, despite being slower than Harvick, got a good restart, and then just kind of was able to put the dirty air where he needed to go. Ended up leading to Logano's first mid-pandemic win. The first win he's gotten since Phoenix earlier this year, which was before the pandemic shut everything down. So massive congratulations to Logano, and I know quite a few Logano fans that are, I'm sure, very happy that Logano did get this win. I'm certainly think it's going to be nice to see him at Phoenix, though I think he probably could have gotten there at Martinsville or Texas, or even just consistently on points. But I definitely would like to see, maybe because 2021, because we're still going to have the same package, maybe try the shorter spoilers again with the reduced horsepower, though, at some of these 1.5 miles. Just try and find something that might reduce some of that dirty air problem, but will still keep the manufacturers and the teams happy. Just trying to find some kind of balance there, because while this was entertaining for me watching, I could definitely see from a Harvick fan's perspective, or even Kevin Harvick himself, being very frustrated with this package not really allowing him to make the pass that I think he was more than capable of. But again, in the end, Logano did what he needed to do within the rules as they are written now. I just think that maybe at least looking to a rule change for next year, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that the diffuser or whatever they're adding to the next gen car eliminates the dirty air, or at the very least reduces the impact of it. Yeah, it's just it's an odd situation because I'm so excited because we had a great race, and it was kind of fueled by that package being really good on the restarts. But then on the long run, we saw a situation where a faster car couldn't pass a slower car. I definitely won't go as far as some YouTubers on social media that I've seen have said where this is the last straw, because I think there definitely can be some ideas thrown around. Like, I think potentially a change could be seen, but also we've seen other great races at some of these 1.5 miles. I mean, we've seen situations where Kansas, even back in, I think it was 2019, Kansas put on a fantastic race. But yeah, so yeah, that was pretty much the bulk of what I wanted to talk about from Kansas. Was just the Aero package definitely produced something I thought was entertaining for a fan that was looking at it, but it certainly, I could see it being frustrating for the teams and drivers to constantly have to worry about that dirty air being a problem. And I think it's actually made worse by the fact that you're that there is less horsepower. I think more horsepower does deal with the dirty air that the higher spoiler would create. So I'd say either up the horsepower and keep the spoiler, or reduce the spoiler and keep the horsepower, because clearly high horsepower, low downforce is just causing wrecks like we saw in 2018. I mean, Texas. I think there were two wrecks before lap 10 at both Texas races in 2018. And then we had Bristol. I think there was a wreck on lap 2 at Bristol in 2018 as well in the spring race. I mean, so I understand some of where this actually does help with cost saving too, but I don't know. I think looking at a change, like changing one of those two things, we haven't really seen low horsepower, high downforce. Well, we've seen low horsepower, high downforce. We haven't seen low and low. So low horsepower, low downforce. And we haven't seen high horsepower, high downforce really since about 2014, I think was the last time we really saw high horsepower, high downforce. And we've never seen low horsepower, low downforce. So I'd say look at one of those two changes possibly for the intermediate tracks. I would leave the plate tracks alone, and I would leave the short tracks alone, and just look at purely for the intermediate tracks, and try and tailor make a package for those tracks. But yeah, really that's just kind of would end up being something just for this next gen, because the next gen car should be able to, at least in theory, deal with some of these issues. But what do I know? And I guess we'll have to wait and see when they officially confirm the rules package here in a few weeks, which we'll definitely be talking about on this YouTube channel. So stick around for that. Leave a like if you guys did enjoy this video. Subscribe if you guys are new. Comment down your guys' thoughts on the Kansas race, the Kansas playoff race here, and I'll see you guys in the next video, live stream, or whatever you guys decide to do with the rest of your day. Video on the Larson information will be coming tomorrow. Sorry about the delay, guys. Have a great day, everybody. Goodbye.